right, good morning. Apparently I need it. So what are we doing? Our project is called the Environmental Management Service Improvement Project, and this is who we are. First of all, not listed up here, Rick Rucker from the Puget Sound VA Healthcare Center. He is our gold status fellow. He's the one that paved the yellow brick road for us, if you will. And from Kevin Reeves from Salt Lake City, and Steve Johnson from Cleveland, and I am Andy Martin, and I am the chief in Toma. So what is it we're gonna do? You're on it. I love it. These guys are great support, aren't they? Okay, so problem statement. I'm not satisfied with the cleanliness of my room. I feel like I don't have a voice. There's no way for me to be heard. Not an uncommon thing that we hear in our line of work, and many of you out there hear it as well. If you're involved with patients, they're venting to whoever's going to listen, and also because they don't have a direct line of communication to us. So what are we going to do? We're going to take a journey. Imagine your Beetle Bailey. Let's go with Private Benjamin. It was a cute one. I just dated myself there. So Private Benjamin, she's got a clinic appointment with us. She has to come see us for whatever reason. We provide some kind of care she can't get elsewhere. Lives 2 hours away. She's driving to our hospital, never been there before. Can't find the front entrance. Wayfinding's an issue most places. Finally gets there. What's the first thing she does? She goes to the bathroom because she's been on the road for 2 hours. She's frustrated because she couldn't get in. She hasn't even talked to anybody yet. First thing she does, walks in the front door. Where's the bathroom? Okay, it's not right here, so now I gotta go find it. Finds the bathroom, walks in, counter's all dirty, trash on the floor everywhere, things like that. What's Private Benjamin's first impression of us? It's not very good. Not very good. Now, when she gets done, goes and checks in, gets to see her provider, what's her trust level gonna be? We've already set the stage that we're not taking care of our business. So how are we gonna fix that? Project goals, improve the veteran experience. It's gonna be different for each one of us. In a second here, we'll tell you a little bit about our hospitals and how we're different and how that might impact this. But the general, improve cleanliness for her patient experience. Build her trust and give her a voice. Empower her to talk directly to one of us and let her voice be heard without having to wonder who to talk to the wrong person. Did the message get delivered? Did the problem get fixed? I don't know. So like I said, it could look different how each facility would choose to implement that. I'll tell you just a little bit about the local challenges at my facility. In Toma, we're a very small rural community. We are not a 1A facility, we're level 3. We don't have the OR, the ICU, the emergency department, all those fancy things that get the big budgets and all that. We don't have that. We don't, I don't want to talk about budget, but our buildings are very old. We hear that, that's a common thread. So with the exception of Orlando, beautiful building. Some of our buildings on our campus originated during the Civil War. So right around the time President Lincoln was issuing our mission statement as a VA, that's right around the time that Toma was starting to be built. Most of our main campus that we're using for patient care now was built in the World War II timeframe. So we're talking a pretty old campus, a lot of challenges that go with that. And also the mission that we have is not like you would see at a typical hospital where you have all those other things. Most of our mission is long-term care, CLC, things along those. I see I'm ignoring you though. CLC, long-term care, mental health. Our RTP is a really growing market for us. Our typical inpatient department is a very small part of what we do. So. Go ahead. I guess we're not going to do that. So what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? What we have realized in the long run on phone technology, I see them out here everywhere. Everybody's got these smartphones. You're sitting in the back acting like you're working and you're really texting pictures of socks to your best friends. 10 cards. We have the 10 cards here. This is the QR code. Some of you may be familiar with that technology. And what's going to pop up? So the cards themselves are the first part of the implementation. That's a quick win for us. But with the QR codes, you scan that, and this is the example from Puget Sound. Don't call Rick. And I'm picking up time. This part here, project timeline. When are we going to do it? Pre-implementation, and this could differ with the different issues that we face. Pre-implementation, November to February. We're going to do leadership briefing, kick off with the core team, define project scope, develop milestones, schedule, build and develop the 10 cards. That's our quick win. Develop the QR scan. Implementation, March to June. Deploy and pilot the 10 cards, 100-day pilot phase, evaluate, define, update, redeploy. This is where we're going to roll it out, basically, for a trial. And then post-implementation in July, we're going to, how do we do? What are we going to do going forward? A couple things that we're going to gain from that. Veteran feedback. What is private veteran telling us? How does she feel? And that's good or bad. And employee feedback, same thing. What are we hearing from the staff? All good or all bad? You know, all staff, nursing as well. And then from that, what we can do is develop trends. You know, hey, this area has a problem. This employee has a problem, or positives. And how do we measure success? The results are reflected in our data. Chef data, sale data, medallion, things like that. Not timely, but once we get that, we should hopefully see positive trends. So just as Private Benjamin, what have we done to change her experience on her trip to our hospital? That's
I have
yes, sir.
a statement and a little question. Customer experience is one of the core priorities of the Secretary. This practice was selected by the Veteran Experience Office, and the request was to replicate it in as many different sites as we can to understand how the patient experience is changing at a rural facility, at a 1A facility, and a facility that's sort of in the middle. So that's the context about why there's three of you all up there and how we got here. How are you all going to collectively as a team share that experience, the learning, the journey with one another, but also is there a plan in place to help the organization understand how patient experience is changing in your facility, in your facility, in your facility, and how we're continuously learning from that?
We have discussed, I'm glad you brought that up because there's more to this, but I stick to what the original scope of the project was. We have discussed several ways that we're going to do that, and thank you to the Query folks and the Atlas folks. They do great support. We've all heard many conversations that I'm not used to having this kind of support. You need this, oh, we'll get it for you. You need this resource, we'll set it up. So appreciate all of those guys. We intend to lean heavily on that. But when you talked about the veterans experience, I know I kept having to be, as we were going through this through the course of the last couple of days, being pulled back in, I guess, to focus on the scope of what we had here, but there is a lot more potential to this going forward. We talked about our medallia, sale, chef, all those kinds of things. None of it's timely. You're talking a quarter later, we get that data. It's not specific. It doesn't tell you exactly what's going on in the patient's mind. Anybody who works with those kinds of surveys knows the patient doesn't care what the question is. Was your bathroom clean? Well, I had to wait 3 hours in the pharmacy and this, that, and the other thing. So they don't care. This, I envision being a tool for, we could gather veterans experience type questions. Real time. Real time is huge. Anybody who works with all that data knows. It's not timely. This is something real time we can react to. We don't care that the bathroom was dirty 3 months ago. We care what's going on right now. Or any facet of their visit could certainly be reflected in here. I'm not going to ignore you, Joe. I got you this time.
So I think keep that in mind, and what I'll challenge you all to do as a group is to think about the constructs of that, so how we as an organization can learn from these three replications about patient experience overall. Because I think VEO is going to be really looking at this closely.
I know I've set it up to report through my Veterans Experience Committee and move towards that direction. Yes, sir?
y'all put some discussion into card placement, so it's a tent card, where does that go in the restroom?
It's gonna vary from site to site. Rick rolled his out in his inpatient care. That wouldn't probably be appropriate for me because my inpatient care is a very small area. It's only 10 beds, and it's oftentimes not full. There's not a lot of stuff that goes on there, so I got you, Joe. Whereas it might be more appropriate for me, not a tent card, but maybe a wall mount in a public bathroom or something like that.
Oh, over here, for males.
Excuse me?
For males, I can speak, you know,